Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Autistic Voice Project. As always, I'm Matt Lowry from roughly Louisville, Kentucky.
And I'm Erin Findley from Napa, California.
And today we've got a ironic, fun episode, stress.
Stress.
Because this is a really big thing for us because of process complexity, because of the way that we process stress, because of our interoceptive difficulties, because of issues with our wonky meat bodies. We we are devastated by stress. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that we really, really need to talk about it, especially at such a time when it seems like the country is falling apart around us.
Yeah.
And by the country, we're in the U.S. I know that,
Right.
yeah, Bjorn from Finland is is that a stereotype?
I
Is
have
that?
no idea. But I do
Uh,
know that Romy is in the UK, so we can use her.
oh, very good. Hi, Romy. And
We
you,
love you, Romy.
yeah, you are very, very fortunate to not be in where we are. So
Indeed.
let's talk about stress. And what do you want to say about stress, Erin? Because you've had a lot of stress lately.
I mean, like any of us who pay attention to current events, yeah,
Which
stress
yeah,
is a thing.
shame on you.
I know,
It's
right?
it's much easier if you just stick your head in the sand and pretend everything's fine. But
I
damn if we
lack
can't
the
do that.
ability to do that. I
Yeah.
I would love to have the ability to do that sometimes, but I lack it.
Yeah, I
So
do maladaptive daydreaming as a treat for myself because if I live in the TARDIS, I'm safe and can move anywhere in space and time, and it's all good. But
mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
dissociation.
It's a strategy, and there
Yeah,
are times when that's the strategy you need because that's the strategy you've got. I'm not going to throw
yeah.
shade. Um you know, th- when I'm stressed, my body um goes a little haywire.
Yeah,
Um
yeah. Tell us about it.
especially now that I'm in perimenopause, which for those of you who are experiencing perimenopause or menopause, or who have had significant hormonal changes in your bodies that allow your body to experience the world in fresh new perspectives, um, boy, ain't it fun. And by fun,
Yeah,
I mean shitty. Um,
yeah. I
so
hear that the chemical changes really, really do not sit well.
Yeah, it's been a ride so far. Thankfully, I have not had some of the uh the anxiety is one of the ones that has been cropping up for a lot of people that I
I got
talked
you
to
covered on
lately.
that one.
Right. Um, but so hormone induced anxiety is not something that I'm dealing with currently. Can't guarantee for what's going to be like tomorrow, um, but
We'll worry about that
um,
later.
yeah, tomorrow. Um, but I will, like, shit just goes offline now.
Yeah.
I last couple of days, so we're recording this on Monday, January 26th. Um, and for those of you who probably listened to the podcast that we just recorded, which we will release later today, this is going to come out on Friday, so it should be pretty close. But over the weekend, I experienced a weekend long vestibular migraine,
Ooh.
which basically meant any time that I stood up, I was dizzy and needed to lie down again. Um, and
Yeah.
my body's way of trying to sort of incorporate the data that I was um, experiencing and taking in, plus my internal conflict with, like, I need and want to be paying attention to what's going on in the world, in the United States particularly, but I also am noticing my body is outside of its window of tolerance. um
Yeah.
like that my body's like, okay, well, I'm going to give you a signal that you can't ignore, and it's going to look like this: lay down. Also,
That is a
lay the
tough
fuck
balance.
down.
Yes.
So yeah, that's been exciting. Um, and migraines were like, I was suspected that I had some migraines, but they never really got bad until perimenopause. So that's
Yeah.
been special as well. Um,
So what are the effects on estrogen and blood vessels in the brain? Because
I
I've
don't
read
know.
a little bit about that because yeah, it really really messes up the ability to expand and contract as necessary. Plus, we've already got the wonky connective tissue anyway that comes along
Right.
with being autistic, and of course your blood
Mm-hmm.
vessels have a good deal of connective tissue, if not all of it, made up of them. There, that
Right.
thing,
Right.
and it combines to cause a perfect storm there, especially
Yeah.
when you know being a hyperconnected brain, being a brain that has more capillaries than most brains to feed all of the hyperconnected brain,
Mm-hmm.
it can cause a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So um, my particular body tends towards shutdown. Now, yours may be
Yeah,
different. My husband's is different. He is also not autistic, but um, he's like, his body tends towards overdrive. So if he is feeling something, he has to move, right? He
yeah.
has to, um, he's the guy who will wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and start cleaning the house,
Hmm.
which is not, by the way, as fun as it sounds, for the person
I
who's
would die.
still sleeping.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. There's a lot of noise that it comes with cleaning the house, and presumably light. And
oh,
if yeah,
actually, that part, um, so okay, totally hilarious side story. I sleep like the dead. When I go to sleep, no, getting to sleep is hard.
yeah,
But once I'm asleep, I sleep like the dead. And when I was in college, I was at a camping trip for the resident assistants who were getting ready to, be resident assistants for the dorms the next year. Some kind of team bonding thingy. And so we all camped and had, tents and whatnot. And a bear came into our um, our campsite. I swear to
oh
God,
hell,
this is related. Okay. Um, so this bear
barely
comes into
related.
the exactly, barely related. Nice. Well played. Um, when so like everybody was doing all these things, they were, banging on the trash cans and hollering at the bear and whatever. And meanwhile, I'm asleep and I stayed asleep and I didn't
Oh
wake
God,
up. And the next morning, everybody was like, "Oh my God, the bear." And I'm like, "What bear?" So that's my nickname
wow,
when it comes to sleeping, is what bear. Um,
holy shit.
so when my husband house cleans at ungodly o'clock in the morning, um, I usually am asleep and I usually don't have any idea what's going on. Um, but
More
uh,
power to you on that. Oh my.
Well, I wouldn't say it's restful sleep though. It's almost like being
Comatose.
drugged. It's yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird cuz I don't take sleep meds, but it's almost like being drugged. It's very strange.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, and this is a big thing because we the quality of sleep really really matters because we
yes.
need good restful sleep in order to flush out like our brains and get rid of all the crap that's built up throughout the day, shift things into long-term memory, and if your
Mhm.
body isn't properly taken care of, if your brain doesn't have that proper rest, you could sleep like the dead but not get any rest out of it. Therefore,
Right.
yeah.
Therefore
So what
chronic
up with all that?
fatigue or so
Yes.
anyways, my point is just that like different people's bodies tend in different directions. If your body is one that tends towards overdrive, um, then it's good to be aware of that. My body tends towards shutdown. It's
Yeah.
important to be aware of that too. And so when I'm looking, excuse me, interesting that I yawned right there.
Ha!
So
It's as if your meat body is trying to convey some cryptic
perhaps,
message to you. Yeah.
perhaps, like so when I'm overdoing it, I start to feel heavier. I start to feel more dragged down. I start to feel more lugubrious, if you want a fun word to say.
That's an
Um,
interesting new word.
I know, right? Isn't that fun? It's like delicious. Um, so all of that is to say, your own body gives you clues, and you can take a look at what your body does and has done during periods of stress to see, like, oh, am I somebody whose body like just needs to move and get going and do all the things, or am I somebody whose body goes "Brrr," and powers down?
And this is a good time to talk about the word interoception, because I'm not sure if we've covered interoception here on the podcast before, as you continue to yawn as your meat body
I know,
continues to
right?
send you some sort of message. It's
Well, it's
I
sending me a message to have some water right now.
uh, I, I have a tankard of coffee, so yeah, because I push my body past my normal limits when I should be resting, but here we are. Because
Yes, and I'm also taking my electrolytes for anybody
oh, good.
who's
Yes,
interested.
electrolytes are very good to. It's
Electrolytes are a
what
good
plants
thing.
crave.
That's right.
Yeah, and but yeah, the interoception is one of our what 8 senses:
Eight.
sight, sound, touch, taste, smell, vestibular, proprioceptive, and interoceptive.
Interoceptive.
So interoception is this internal awareness of sensations like hunger, thirst, what we call satiety, meaning feeling full, needing to go to the bathroom, needing to sleep, all
Mm-hmm.
and them funky things that we call feelings.
Feelings.
Exactly. And this, we autistic people tend to live in our heads and not pay attention to these weird signals that our meat bodies are trying desperately to convey to us. I used to use the example of Lassie because until I realized that no one these days has ever seen Lassie, which is very
Yeah,
unfortunate.
you're aging yourself out of that one,
I
my
am
friend.
I am ancient because back in the 50s, there was a black and white show about a special dog that
Named
every
Lassie.
week named Lassie. Every week,
You
Lassie's
actually
owner
have to
Timmy.
include that part.
Yeah. Well, giving away the spoiler on that one.
Yeah.
But every week, Lassie's owner, a boy named Timmy, would fall in a well or fall off a cliff or get caught by a raging barn, something. And Lassie would go to Timmy's parents, go, "Roof." And they would say, "What is it, Lassie?" "Roof. Timmy's caught in the well." "Roof. We need to follow you." "Roof. We also need to bring the jaws of life, pliers, and an 8-foot rope." "Roof. We'll be there." And then they followed Lassie to save Timmy. And again, Lassie had this uncanny ability to communicate. So I would always say that our bodies are trying, like Lassie, to communicate, but again, trying to communicate that idea is a whole meta communication because we are built on memes, and that's a whole different episode. So bottom
But
line,
that should be an episode. Mental
it
health for
is.
later.
I think that yeah, we should do that one next because Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra calls.
Ah, yes.
But anyway, our bodies send us signals, and sometimes we listen to them, sometimes we don't listen to them, sometimes we ignore them entirely, and sometimes we don't know how to interpret them. And this is an example I use whenever I do an evaluation. I was genuinely unaware that the phrase "to get cold feet" means that someone's feet are physically cold, and that's a sign of anxiety. I did not know that most people feel cold in their feet when they're anxious.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, okay. Well, this is new to you. You might have interoceptive difficulties.
Well, I also have permanently cold feet.
But that's the thing about the anxiety and the extra processing, because you're always churning through the data. You always have something to be anxious about. And we just say, "Oh, yes, I just thought feet were normally cold."
Well, that, and I also have Raynaud's syndrome, which means I have like vasoconstriction issues in my feet, which make them lose blood flow. Which is why my hands are purple right now.
And that's more common for autistic people.
Right.
Yeah. And again, it could all be connected. And
it could, indeed.
Yeah. and this is the thing, and I feel that too, because I when I am I've noticed this about my feet. When I am very happy and, comfortable, my feet do feel warm, but generally speaking, I feel pressure. I can feel like if somebody like taps on my feet, I can feel that, but I don't feel temperature in my feet. And
Mm,
it's very, very, I first noticed
interesting.
this after my divorce, and I noticed that when I was really emotionally out of it, my body doesn't register temperature, which
Hmm.
is when I was able to walk outside in cargo shorts in the middle of February, when everybody says it was cold, and I was like, what do you mean cold? I just stopped registering that. And again, this is a very fascinating interoceptive thing about how we interpret the world. And burnout, we stop getting that memo. But again, we don't, because again, we don't habituate to the cold. We just don't know how to handle those signals, because there's a lot of depression going along with that, and we're already overloaded, and it just combines to form this general sense of, oh my god, there's just
Well, the
too
other the
much.
other thing too is, it also dovetails with this thing that happens when we're um, we're young and we're telling our family or caregivers or
Yes.
teachers or whomever, like, I'm having this experience, and they're like, you can't possibly be having that experience
Yeah.
because I'm not having that experience.
Yeah.
And that teaches us to distrust the signals we do register,
Yeah.
right? And that traumatizes us out of being aware of those things. So it's multi-layered. And
I
so we have
remember
a hard time registering stress. Sorry, go on.
I remember distinctly that my mom got mad at me one time because I didn't want to be around a light because it made a noise, and she couldn't hear the noise, and she thought I was fucking with her.
Oh no, I
And
bet it was
she was,
insanely. Oh,
yeah, yeah. I was like, can't you
I've had
hear
that
the
experience.
noise?
Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, it
whining
became a whole thing.
televisions,
Yeah,
whining
yeah,
televisions for me. I'm
yeah,
like, the
and
monitor's on, the TV's on. They're like, what are you talking about?
yeah.
Like, it's
It,
right
it, it
there.
later went to when I had rheumatic fever and I couldn't use my legs. It's just, you can use your legs, you just don't want to go to school. I was like, no, I can't use my legs because, but yeah. So lifetime of being told, no, you're not feeling that. No, you're not experiencing that. No, you are somehow
Right,
wrong.
right,
Yeah. And that's a, and this teaches us to ignore our body's needs.
right.
When I worked in community mental health, I I I I was an in-school therapist, meaning that I would either go to the middle school or the high school. I would get there right. I was supposed to be there before school started, but I couldn't get past the Pledge of Allegiance because I thought it was weird and culty. Because everyone froze and stared at a flag throughout the entire song and said a chant, and then I was
Yeah.
like, am I able to move? Is it weird that I can move? Can everybody else not move? What's going on here? So I felt very
Mm-hmm.
weird. So I just got to work late every day so I could avoid that. But I worked through lunch every single day because the kids would come to me at lunch, and I was like, oh, that's when the kids need me. I'll just wait until 5 o'clock to eat. And I got in trouble with my boss because my boss was like, you didn't take a lunch break. I was like, I didn't need a lunch break. Well, you have to take a lunch break. I didn't take a lunch break. And they're like, well, you have to write on there. I was like, well, I can't lie, and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But it turns out at the end of every day, I felt what I call buzzy. I felt like my body was filled with electricity and I was shaky. And I didn't
Mm.
realize that that is what most people say. Yeah, you probably have some low blood sugar. You might need to have some food
You're
in there.
hungry?
Otherwise, you could die. Every once in a
Yeah,
while, you need to refuel that body there.
that's
And
right.
yeah, so I've gotten on a schedule for eating, and I've passed that on
Mm-hmm.
to my child to to say it's time to put food in the belly because the belly needs food,
Mm-hmm.
and it's time to poop because the butt needs to poop. And he's just gone, and and again, it can't be in the moment. Like, I think you need to go poop right now. No, we have to say, I think in about 15 minutes, it'll be about time to go poop. And then about 15 minutes, he'll be like, whoa, I do. Oh my God. And then he'll have to run to the bathroom.
Nice,
'Cause you
nice.
need to lay that prep work. And by the way, as a personal side note, I taught my son how to use the air fryer this weekend.
Oh,
So,
yeah?
in anticipation of the snow, I went to McDonald's and we got 40-piece chicken nuggets. So here we have
Okay.
chicken nuggets throughout the weekend, and he wanted hot chicken nuggets, and I was like, "Would you like to see how to heat up the chicken nuggets?" And I showed him the air fryer, pull out the basket, put the nuggets in, set it for 5 minutes, put the basket
Mhm.
back in, and he's incredibly proud of himself for being able to cook his own supper now. And I'm like, yes, you are a very
Nice.
independent little guy. You are a very big kid. But yeah, we schedule our eating, we schedule going to the bathroom, and we schedule sleeping because we might not necessarily know that we need to do that. Uh,
Right.
I I am very much like you in that when I am stressed out, my body just decides to hit the off switch,
Yeah.
and I will collapse. There
Mhm.
was one time in particular in a session where there was some this person was going through some really rough stuff, and my
Yeah.
brain said, I think we're full. And I started to get
I
really
know.
sleepy, and I felt incredibly bad about this. And I was like,
Mhm.
I assure you, I'm not bored. I'm fighting this brain urge to check out right now. And,
Mhm.
all this because I don't want them to think that you know,
Yeah.
yes, your trauma bores me. But when I was a kid, whenever I got home from school, I would crash every single day after school
Mhm.
because I was so overwhelmed. And even
Yeah.
today, after a long day of therapy, I will go and sleep for 2 or 3 hours before I get up and start doing stuff because I need
Mhm.
to reset my brain.
Right. Right. Exactly. Um
So that was a long
when
tangent
I
to say, me too.
Yeah, right. When I'm done at the end of my workday, I usually need my husband to hand me a snack
Yeah,
because I come out of my home office and I'm a zombie.
yeah.
And he has learned not to talk to the zombie, just feed the zombie, and then the
Yes,
zombie will
yes.
become human again.
Yes, yes. These are and this is a big thing about having people in your life who can support you in those ways because you don't need somebody who's like, "Hi, how was your day?" and it requires extra cognitive processing on top of that. You
Mhm.
need silence and snacks, and that is a form of care. That's a love language
It
in order
is.
to restore you back to humanity.
It is. And also to be fair, like it's not just his job. So I also have been looking at like what snacks can I set myself up with at lunchtime so that when I'm done with my work day, I can zombie my way out of my office toward the fridge and have a snack, whether or not that snack is facilitated because it was facilitated by earlier me.
Have you ever gotten something as some like I have a habit that whenever I go to Meyer, and because the people there don't always cook them, getting a whole bunch of chicken strips and putting them in the refrigerator immediately and not eating them immediately. So later on, I surprise myself with surprise chicken strips, and I'm like, oh, that's very nice of me to get me some chicken strips. I'm very happy now, and it's yeah, and if you have something, I cooked a turkey breast just last night because I
Mhm.
knew that I would need food throughout this week, and
Mhm.
I went in there this morning. It My son has discovered that he loves more than anything now frosted mini wheats. So now I got
Okay.
a huge bag of generic frosted mini wheats for me, and that was going to be my breakfast. But he absolutely needed to eat 4 bowls of frosted mini wheats today. I don't think
Mhm.
he'll have any problem pooping for the rest of the week. But
Not
I,
likely.
yeah. So I went in and I was going to get other food, and I realized, oh, I've got turkey. Oh my god, that's so great! And
Mhm.
I was. This is a form of surprise self care because I always forget that I make food for myself and it's there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll do that like actually so I had lunch the lunch that I had today was actually leftover scrambled eggs from brunch on Saturday.
well,
Um and yeah, I'll do that where I'll like wander over to the fridge because I'm hungry and I don't know what to eat, and then I'll be like, oh, that's right, food. There is food here.
Yeah, there's real food instead of eating,
Mm-hmm.
and this is
Right.
this is the thing about executive functioning, because whereas neurotypical people are like, oh yes, you should prepare food every day. We're like, I ate a spoonful of peanut butter, I'm okay, or I ate a handful of nuts, that's fine, or
Yeah.
chips, yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and this
So
is yeah,
and these kinds of things are really important when we're stressed, you know, coming back to our
yes,
stress topic, because executive function is one of the things that can really fall off when we're stressed, right?
yeah.
Because we're
God, don't
trying to
I know it?
survive whatever the thing is that we're stressed about.
Yeah,
And so we might forget that we need to eat. We might forget that we need to sleep. We might, you know, lose track of what time it is. Like, one of the things that I have set up in my house is we have automated lights set up in our bedroom, and we have an automated white noise machine that goes
neat.
on at 8 p.m. And so the lights go on in the bedroom at an hour before sundown, and then they turn themselves off. They gradually turn themselves off between 9 and 9:30. At 8
That's
p.m.,
neat.
the automated white noise app goes on. So there's about a window of an hour to an hour and a half for bedtime routine. Now my dog has figured this out.
This is
And he
this pulls him into service animal support role.
right. And he knows that the last thing that we do before we tuck in bed is they get dental treats, and
Ah,
they love the dental treats. So when that white noise starts going on, he's like, "Mama, Mama, time, Mama, don't you need to be doing? Don't you need to be brushing your teeth? Don't you need to be loading the dishwasher? Come on, Mama, it's bedtime.
yeah, yeah. Get your things taken care of.
Get your shit together, lady."
Exactly. And that's a good bit of support, because if
It
because
is.
once again we have a tendency to ignore the signals of I'm tired, because we have revenge bedtime procrastination, because you say
Yeah.
I haven't had time to myself all day, I'll stay up until 5 a.m. doom scrolling. And if you have
Mm-hmm.
an animal who says no, it is bedtime, you must do
Mm-hmm.
the bedtime things, that's
Yeah,
important
exactly.
because it helps you co-regulate.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like, I know that I'm going to, you know, brush my teeth and get in my PJs and do the feed the cat and give everybody their nighttime treats, and then crawl in bed and then do the toothbrushes, the dog toothbrushes, which are the very last thing before snuggles and lights out and sleep.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So you got to keep on track in order to get the treats and the snuggles.
that's right. That's right. And
Yeah.
so my my dog, who is probably is autistic himself, also is like, yeah, let's make this happen. Come on,
Yeah.
get your shit together.
And that the automaticity, automation of
Mm-hmm.
all of this brings up a good thing, because sometimes self-care can appear stressful because of the process complexity, because
Mm-hmm.
we have to do the cooking in order to cook for ourselves, we have to do the cleaning in order to have a
Yes.
clean place, and it takes energy to restore energy. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
able to make these tasks automatic and put them on a
Yes.
timer and do it once, and then it does it every day forever, then
Right.
that saves a lot of energy, and it reduces stress in the long term. And we have to
Mm-hmm.
look at these systems where we're able to set up these systems outside of us, uh,
Mm-hmm.
put in the effort, put in the investment, put in the energy, whatever it takes, in order to get it to where it does it forever, and
Mm-hmm.
we take care of ourselves that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the like the
Oh
white noise thing, that's just an app on my phone,
yeah,
you know?
that's neat. Yeah, I've got genies to where I can connect it to my phone and make things connected. And but I generally don't use them. But man, that would be a really good idea because I like that.
Well, you could experiment with it, and then
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
report back.
yeah. Developing new systems, and this
Hmm.
is a thing because so stress is one of those things that will periodically attack us a lot of
Hmm.
times out of nowhere. So this is
Yeah.
why whenever we do have energy to spare, whenever things are calm, we have to work on refining these things when
Hmm.
it's convenient so that when it's inconvenient, we don't have to worry about them. So that we
Right.
have to be very proactive about reducing stress because, if the car breaks down, if someone dies, that is not the
Hmm.
time to fiddle with a, system. You
Right.
absolutely already need that system in place in order to take care of yourself. You
Yes.
already need people in your life who are able to check in and say, "Hey, do you need help with that?" You
Right.
need apparently robots and animals to come in and be your butlers and keepers. That would be fantastic. And I think
I
that if everyone
really
had that, we'd
want.
be much better off.
I really want a robot housekeeper.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I really do.
Again, dating myself, Rosie from the Jetsons, Rosie the robot,
Yes.
because
Yes, I would
nobody
like a
knows who
Rosie,
Rosie the
please.
robot is these days.
Yeah.
But
Well, I do,
yeah,
but I'm also older than you are,
yeah,
so
yeah. Yeah, back in these days, we had a show about
back in my
cavemen,
day.
and it was popular. So we had a show about people in the future, which ended up being like 20 years from now.
I
It
know.
it it turns out that according to George Jetson's driver's license, he was born like 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, he
yeah,
picked a hell of a time to be alive, didn't he?
yeah, 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 yeah. Man, no wonder they all live in the sky, because yeah. Also, fun fact: according to the ages of everybody, uh, Judy. Wait, Judy was the mom, right? Or who was the
Jane,
mom and
I
who was the
thought.
kid? Jane.
Jane.
Jane. Yeah, Jane, the wife. Uh, Jane.
Exactly.
Yeah. It turns out that Jane was like 15 when Judy was born, and
Oh,
and
that's awkward.
and George was 25. So there's
Also awkward.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
but that explains because after the Epstein files, they decided everything was okay. So
sigh.
the dark future of the Jetsons. So yeah, oh stress.
No stress.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, the dealing with stress because we have that. You've seen me deal with the infinite frustration of the minutia of Google, and yeah, there
Yes.
because this is the thing. I can deal with trauma. I can deal with
Mm-hmm.
issues with my car. I damn near ran myself over when I was trying to push my car up the hill when my
Yes,
engine
you
went
did.
out. It
Yes, you did.
sucked, but it didn't irritate me as badly as Google. Google, the minutia of click on this link. Oh, that link doesn't have it. Click on this other link. It takes you back to the first link. I want
Yeah.
to reach in and strangle it because oh my god, how can this happen? The the,
Right.
the minutia of all of this just it boggles my mind. And
Mm-hmm.
that is incredibly stressful. This is a thing we call process complexity. It comes from the bottom up processing and the awareness that we things should run smoother in an ideal world, and
Right.
that causes me a great deal of stress. So anytime I can have systems to take that away, I'm all about that. I would love, and again, you've been telling me for almost a decade at this point to have somebody answer my email for me because when I'm stressed out, it takes me a week to get back to people, and by that time they're like, "I wanted an autism evaluation a week ago. This is unprofessional. I will not be talking to you." Which,
Mm-hmm.
eh, it this is the thing about being autistic. If you want an autism evaluator doing an autism evaluation in an autistic way, you got to take the negatives with the positives.
Also true. And also, whenever you're ready for that,
Ah, yes,
uh,
yeah, that, yeah, and this is the
just
thing
let me know.
because
I'll help you find one.
yeah, yeah, and thanks to our I guess is she a producer, Lelaine? What?
She's our person. She does all
Yeah,
the things.
yeah,
Thanks to
the person who
Lelaine.
does all the things is doing all the things, and there will soon be a website, and
Hi,
she's
Lelaine.
yeah, she's thank you very much for all the work because it makes me insane. Taking care of the new YouTube channel. And again, we have a new
Yes.
YouTube channel, not the old YouTube channel,
Yes.
because the old YouTube channel, I set it up under my personal YouTube account and I can't separate it from my YouTube account. And I'll lose my subscription to Secret Galaxy, which is a channel on YouTube, which I really, really love because he talks about things from the 80s with interesting factoids for $1 a month. I'm a member and I get to learn all about the secret history of like Airwolf and the secret history of juicy fruit. And it's
Okay.
it second to this podcast, it's what you should definitely be watching because I I learned many interesting facts and
Hmm.
it's delightful. But the Lelaine is now handling the YouTube channel, so I don't have to.
We are
Very thanks
deeply,
to you, Lelaine.
deeply appreciative for Lelaine in our
Yes.
lives.
Yes, and everybody needs a Lelaine in their life to help with
That's right.
the minutia that piles up for the stress.
Yes.
And yeah, it's God. There's so much to be stressed out about, especially these days when it feels like there's a constant bombardment every single day, and you don't know what to do with it. It's once again because I am ancient. There was an episode of a show called I Love Lucy, which was about a redheaded woman who saved Star Trek. But that
Hmm.
wasn't her role in this show. But she once got a job in a candy factory with an ever increasing assembly line of
Yes.
chocolates that she got so overwhelmed she just started eating the chocolates and shoving them in her boobs. If you search for boobs chocolate Lucy, you'll find it.
You'll
But
find it, and it's pretty
yeah,
funny scene.
it yeah it's one of the all-time classics, and I think that I mean, honest to God, given Lucille Ball's life, I wouldn't be at all
She was
surprised if she
amazing.
was one of us, because she
Yeah.
was indeed the first lady of comedy and she understood all this.
Hmm.
So yeah, the life can get overwhelming very fast. So we need these breakers in place, these seawalls to prevent getting overwhelmed by chaos, preventing just losing it,
Hmm.
burning out, or having meltdowns, or having shutdowns. We need a way to release that pressure and deal with stress in healthy ways before it happens.
Yes.
So, what kind of methods can you have? Like, setting up automatic timers, like having a dog that knows your routine better than you. What else can we do to set up things and have machines like a washing machine and a dryer and
Hmm.
the dishwasher? That's that thing,
Yes.
or one of those
Yes.
little electronic vacuums that runs around your house. And
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
trust those things.
because they map your house and sell your data to big companies,
I mean,
or
that
because they'll
too.
attack you in your sleep.
I I was thinking more about like it falling down the stairs and not being able to get
Oh,
back up, but yeah,
oh well.
sure. All the other
I've seen
things too.
I've seen many movies about the robot revolution, and it starts with Roombas. So
That's
that's
right.
just how it goes. Yeah, you don't
So
want
we
to
just
piss off
can't
the
trust
Roomba.
those guys.
Yeah.
Um, so let's see. One of the things that can be really helpful with stress relief that I use a lot is called the pulsetto, and
The Pulsetto.
it's one of a number of different devices that are, by the way, typically FDA approved. And so if you have access to a flexible spending account or a health savings
Ooh.
account, you can usually use those funds to buy one of these. They're vagus nerve stimulators.
Oh,
The
neat.
pulsetto
What
is
is a vagus nerve?
the vagus nerve connects the brain to all of your major organs. So it's like the super highway between what your brain can sort of take in and process, and then the instructions for what to do with that information, and then also feedback back up to the brain from the organs to give your brain feedback about what's going on.
So this
And so,
device does something with the nerve.
yeah, so the particular one that I use is um, it's like a neck band, and it has two little contact points on each side of your throat. Um, and you use the same kind of gel that you would use for like an ultrasound.
Yeah.
So conductive gel, and to help that the contacts contact your skin. And then you can choose
Galvanic
specific.
skin sort of thing there.
Yeah, yeah, it's conductive skin.
Neat.
It's conductive gel, and what it does is it uses pre-programmed pulses at an intensity level that you select, so you don't have to like. It's not like electroshock therapy or anything.
That's good.
Um, and but you can choose the program that you want. So like there's one that I use regularly for sleep. There's another one that I use pretty regularly for stress. There's one that I use for burnout. They also have a custom one now that if you have like an Oura ring or some other like biometric monitoring device, you can connect that up and it'll take the data from your biometrics and custom design a program for you.
Neat.
Um, or you can just tell it, hey, I'm experiencing XYZ right now, and it'll create a program just for that. So that's one of the things that I use. They also have like anxiety ones, an anxiety program, a stress program, a gut health program, an inflammation one, headaches, migraines, that kind of thing. So there's all kinds of options. And there's other ones too. The Pulsetto just happens to be the one that I use. There's also the Apollo, which is one that a colleague friend of mine uses and has had great success with. Sensate is another one.
I've heard of that one.
There's several different ones out there, and it's really just a question of like which format do you want to use and what's going to work best for your body and your nervous system. Um, and a lot of them have like 30-day trials, so you can try it out and send it back if you don't like it.
Yeah.
So that's another nice thing. So
My son's
that's one of.
therapist does a lot of vagus nerve work with him.
Yeah. And there are exercises too. Like if you don't want to get an extra device or if that's outside of your budget, there are also vagus nerve exercises that you can look up. There's an author named Deb Dana who has a series of books on polyvagal work, and one of them is called Polyvagal Exercises for Safety and Connection. So
Ooh.
that can be that could be a really good opportunity to do some self-directed. Um, and if she has anything on I'm sorry, not on Facebook, on YouTube, I would trust that. I would be cautious of just kind of random person number 7 posting a vagus nerve exercise, but if someone reputable who knows what they're talking about posts it, I would go ahead and give that a shot.
I would suggest all sorts of unhelpful things satirically, but again, we're going to be chopping these up and putting them on YouTube, and I don't want somebody to misquote me. Yeah, that gotta watch what I say there, because that's like
Yeah.
no, that much cheese is not healthy for anybody. So
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with food as a coping mechanism as long as you're really clear about what you're doing, as long as you're so the 4 P's. This is the thing. Plan. So you want to plan what you want to do.
to eat cheese,
Portion, right? So you want to think about how much, right?
all of it. Go
pleasure,
on.
you want to
Oh,
really
such great cheese.
you want to really enjoy the pleasure of the experience, and the fourth one is people. So if there are people
Ah,
around, and animals count as people in this
there,
regard.
yeah, yeah,
um
because a good doggo will help you enjoy the cheese with you.
Indeed. But
Yeah,
if
like
you're
I see
following
that you
the
have a lot of cheese. That's quite the burden. May I take
I
some of that
mean,
burden off of your plate?
Lord knows my two dogs would be more than happy to relieve anybody of our dear listeners who has extra cheese. They would be more than happy to help.
Yeah,
Um,
that's far too much cheese on that plate. Let me help.
yeah, I'm just here for you. I'm a selfless
Yeah,
soul. Truly, I
yeah,
am.
yeah. What a burden.
Right. Um, so, so, so if you're thinking about food from that perspective, where you're planning it, you're choosing your portion in whatever way suits your body and your needs best, right? And I'm super non-diet culture here. So diet culture, fuck diet
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
Um, uh, you know, plan, portion, people, pleasure, right?
And
If
this is
you
one of the
do
big things
those
that I
four, or yeah, do those four, then food can be a really lovely stress reliever.
and I think that that's a big thing that we've lost these days because
Yeah.
historically speaking, food was a cultural thing. Food was a
Yeah,
family thing. Food was
it's a
a
connection
safekeeping.
opportunity.
Yeah. And everybody got around and ate food, but you also fed on the vibe. You also fed on the taking care of each other. Yeah, people
Mhm.
got together, cooked together, ate together. And
Mhm.
I think that a lot of time when we eat these days, it's trying to also get in because again, we've been through this for umpteen generations.
Mhm.
And there's a piece of us that still hungers for that companionship, for the family, for that camaraderie
Right.
around the table. And we feel the need to feed, but we also need that companionship.
Right.
So we're trying to fill a void with cheese instead of the people who bring you the cheese.
Right. And it shifts the experience from just being about the cheese,
Yeah.
which, don't get me wrong, the right cheese can be a heavenly thing.
If
You
if you
know,
if you've ever made a
you,
grilled
me, and
cheese sandwich with Munster and provolone, yeah.
or melted brie, because
Ooh.
yum,
Oh,
that's
that melts so well.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Praise
like
cheeses.
praise cheeses. Exactly. um uh, it's fine to have your pleasure. It's important to have pleasure. But it transforms it from an experience of, must shove pile o cheese in maw, um into an experience that you can enjoy and savor,
Yeah.
right? Which is satisfying on so many more levels. Um, for people who enjoy food. Now, for people who don't enjoy food, and especially among our siblings here in the autistic community, there are people who don't enjoy food, or who
Yeah.
only enjoy very limited um, slices of food, pardon the expression,
Yeah.
right? Um, for those folks, food may not be the stress relief you're looking for. This is
Yeah.
not the stress relief you're looking for.
Yeah.
Um, and for those of us who tend towards, like, open package, and then package is somehow empty
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in my guts, and I don't know how it happened, right? That's
Yeah.
also something to be mindful of.
Yeah.
um but that's not, you know that's not a sign of a quote unquote bad food. It might be a sign that you're trying to get something from food that food cannot give you,
Yeah.
right? If you need
Looking for love in
connection,
all the wrong places.
if you need love, if you need companionship, if you need physical touch, right? None of those things come from food.
Yeah. And I think that
Um,
this is a big thing that
yeah.
we need these levels of stimulation and what would the word be? Not admiration, not necessarily support, but this acknowledgement of these needs in different arenas that we often don't get.
Hmm.
I don't know what the
Well, I
appropriate
think
word for
it's
that would be.
affirmation that you're looking for,
Affirmation would be good.
right? Like
Yeah.
to for people to acknowledge that the the need that I'm saying I have is a real need,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
because again, it's a much different experience if you say I am sad and someone says, "Let me come over and make you a steak," or "Let me bring you a steak," versus sitting here and ordering DoorDash steak because you're like, "Ah, I'm sad, I need steak," or "I am
Right.
sad, I shall cook a steak for myself," or "I am sad, I'm just going to sit here and eat raw meat." That none of that really, none of that really
It
hits
all hits
because
different. It all
yeah,
hits
yeah.
differently, and so you gotta pay attention to what nourishes your own body, mind, and soul.
Yeah, the and this is one of the biggest stress things because it's if you think of everything as a grand equation, which I do, uh, stress can come from a lot of demands without the necessary support to have those demands. And
Right.
if you have this level of appreciation, if you have the support necessary, you can handle all sorts of really incredible demands. But if you don't have any support and you don't have any affirmation, if you don't have
Hmm.
any of this, you're going to get taken down by very small things. And we have to make
Hmm.
it a priority when we're not overwhelmed to look for this level of support, to
Right.
find this, to find a community, to find resources, to find robots or a good doggo in order to help us deal with all of this.
Yeah.
It's something that we were never really taught, and a lot of people don't have that modeled,
Hmm.
which leads to a lot of loneliness out there. And I think that that's the only way that we can get over this.
Yeah. And the other thing too is I want to acknowledge the reality that um, there are people who may be among our listeners who don't have access,
Yeah,
and um, and that's and I want to acknowledge the reality. I wish I had an answer for it.
yeah,
Um, I don't, but this is one of those things where if I had a magic wand, that would absolutely be one of the
yeah.
things that I would wave my magic wand around, is like, how do we help people who are currently cut off and isolated have access that actually supports them?
Yeah.
Um, I don't
No,
have that magic wand.
yeah.
Um,
It's a societal thing, and I think that it requires a lot of change with a lot of moving parts that we don't currently have in place, and it's tough. And hopefully, our dear listener, we can provide some level of that to you,
yeah,
because while we are just either voices in your ear or people on your screen, we are here to support you because again I could only practice in Kentucky, and if you are in Nebraska
hmm,
or Toledo or Saskatchewan. I cannot reach out to help you specifically, but hopefully we can help you here.
yeah. And sometimes even just listening to a friendly voice. Like one of the things that I do when I'm really struggling, and like if my husband's working long hours or if he's on a business trip or something, I'll put on my favorite audiobook. Not because I think that my favorite audiobook narrator is, going to be able to help me personally, but at least listening to her voice, it helps me feel less alone.
Yeah.
Right. And so perhaps, hopefully, if you are in an isolated situation right now, hopefully hearing our voices and hearing our care will help you feel less alone too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But with that, we've gone over time, so
What a
we will
shock.
leave you we will leave you alone again. But we have a lot of backlogs, so please
That's
join
right.
us on previous episodes and in the future, especially if you're listening to the future when we've recorded more episodes. Come back. There's always more. We're here for you.
That's right.
Have a good one.
Take care, everyone.